Hi, everyone, from Dunrovin Ranch in Lolo, Montana. It's a lovely late autumn afternoon, a Thursday afternoon, and I have a special guest with me today. I'd like to introduce you to James Garland III.
Yes, ma'am. How are y'all doing?
And James came into Dunrovin's life today. We have put the word out that we would like to have somebody come and live in our Lewis apartment, which is the downstairs apartment in our accommodations units, and help Kelly with the winter work. We do this nearly every winter, and I know some of you have met some of our previous workers. One year, one of our guys made the swing set. Another year, we had Dave. Remember Dave? His house burned, and he moved in for the winter time, and then he moved back out. And we've had a number of different people occupy this particular position, but we are just really excited to have James. So I thought I would introduce you, and the poor guy doesn't know me at all, and Kelly's been giving him all kinds of misinformation about how pushy I am, and everybody knows that's not true.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
But one of the first things I learned about this guy is he's an artistic welder. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you become interested in the arts in welding?
I think I've always had a little bit of artistic background with the stuff that I'd like to do. I've always been a little bit too creative. Throughout my life, and then I decided to go to welding school and was doing the industrial side, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool to just do art with it, do what people can't, and
Right.
and use my skills for something a little bit more enjoyable than just the rat race. So
Right.
that's where I got with that.
Right. And he carries this little notebook. And
Yeah.
he showed me some of his sketches, and I
Actually
just
got
have
it
to
right
say
here.
I have a real heart for people who go through life with a little notebook so that they can capture their artistic impulses, and when they're thinking about something they can scratch it down and refer to it later. So you've come to the Bitterroot Valley from most recently from South Carolina, is that correct?
Uh, yes, yeah. My parents are over there in South Carolina right now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yeah.
give us a little thumbnail history. Dial back from when you graduated from high school, because you've been in the military,
Yes.
you've been to Afghanistan, you've been all over the place. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been
So give us.
everywhere. So after high school, I went into the Marines with a friend of mine out of Louisiana, and in the Marines, I went to Paris Island, then
And
went
where
to
is Paris Island?
Paris Island in South Carolina. That's where the
Okay.
Marines do their boot camp.
Okay.
And after that, I went to infantry school in North Carolina.
And what did you do? What area? Infantry. Explain what job you had within that context.
So at infantry school, I got picked up to go to LAR, which is Light Armored Reconnaissance. And so you're an expeditionary unit operating out of a vehicle in very small groups, real deep out in the desert. So I went to California for that job, and I got stationed out there. And from California, I got deployed to Iraq and to Afghanistan.
That's dangerous work.
It's what you make it.
It's what you make it. How
Yes,
how
ma'am.
long were you there?
I was in Iraq for 9 months and Afghanistan for 9 months too.
9 months. What a cultural change, huh?
Yeah, it was, and it really did open your eyes to the way other countries live that aren't as fortunate as
Right.
us. So
Yeah, and it does open your eyes to how fortunate we are in
yeah,
this
absolutely,
country.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm really glad that it was a safe tour of duty for you. I assume that it was.
Yeah, no scratches, no
No
anything like
scratches.
that. Yeah, so
No,
it was a good job.
that's great. That's wonderful. And then you came back,
Hmm.
and you came back to South Carolina, where your
No,
folks are.
no, I went. Actually, I went to Louisiana. I was dating my now wife, and so I went back there for her. We ended up getting married about a year later, and then I took a job in Afghanistan as a civilian for about a year.
And what did you do there?
I was operating. It's called an aerostat, so it's just a big old balloon you fly up in the sky, and has cameras much similar to the ones that you have watching the animals and stuff here. And I'd pretty much just look for people that are up to no good,
Really?
taking bombs and stuff like that. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Wow. Well, you've had an interesting background. I'm going to get this wasp if he flies within
Oh yeah, I don't
striking
blame
range. We've got a wasp here that's sort of, a late migrant. He needs to migrate along, and he's bugging us.
you. Yeah.
We don't like him. So, how did you come to Montana? You've been back and forth to Montana.
Yeah, actually, it started in the Marines. A real good friend of mine, he lived up Montana. I always thought it was pretty up here. And so after welding school, I took my first job out here in Montana.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I traveled around, went back to Louisiana, traveled to, Pennsylvania and stuff like that working. And decided it's about time to try to, take off with this artistic stuff. And so I moved back up here and built my tiny house right now.
And so you're building a tiny house
Yes, ma'am.
for you and your wife and your daughter. You have a daughter.
Yes,
Tell us
ma'am,
about
yeah.
your daughter.
Oh, 2.5-year-old Zoe. She's
Zoe?
a little monster. Yeah. She's getting into everything, but she's at that age where it's real cute, and I'm
Yeah.
ready to quit being away from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And you've been working this summer in the construction area. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In Darby?
I was out there by Red Lodge outside of Billings.
Oh, yeah, I know
There's
Red
a
Lodge well.
Yeah, a refinery out there was doing
Uh-huh.
expansion. That's where my last industrial welding job was, out there in Billings.
Oh, yeah. And I have a good friend who's one of our horse trainers who is a supervisor there at it's the Exxon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
area.
big old place.
This is where
Yes, ma'am.
Brandon Carpenter works, for everybody who's out there. That you all know Brandon, and he works at the refinery. He's a night supervisor.
Okay.
Yeah,
good
you
deal.
might have run into him. Really nice guy. Yeah, he's been associated with us for many, many years. But and then that brought you back. You have a friend that you are thinking about creating a business with. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And he's, born and raised Montana, and he does. We've been talking about it for years, so we finally decided to pull the trigger and go in and start making stuff.
And tell us what you're thinking of making.
Well, one of the designs that I have right now is for that coffee table, the big old chunk of limestone in it, all polished up, and it's got an old late 1800s blacksmith and vise that we drilled a hole out of, and gonna repurpose some old things and put
Right.
a modern flair on it, so it should look pretty good.
So your focus is going to be on furniture and decorative stones for people's yards.
Oh
and for
yeah, yeah,
people's,
yeah. We can do that.
It's going to be artistic.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Welding and sandblasting.
Yeah, we do some sandblasting and woodworking, just
Uh-huh.
kind of a little bit of everything. So.
And mostly for residential is your focus.
Yeah, for residential areas. Yeah, we do a little bit of commercial work, but it's mainly residential, building
And-
stuff in people's yards.
And this is a guy you met in the Marines.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, from Florence area, right?
Yeah, well, he's originally from Deer Lodge, but then he moved up here. Yeah.
Yeah. Deer Lodge, for everybody who is east of us, about 100 miles east of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you like it in Montana?
Oh yeah, I love it. It's pretty country. Yeah.
Are you a hunter?
I've never done much hunting. I just never had the time, but I fully expect next season to go and take the bow out. And,
Oh, you're an archer.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my husband was an archer too. He got several moose with bows and arrows in Alaska.
No kidding. That's awesome.
That is, yeah. Yeah, it was good eating too, I might
I
add.
bet that's the best reason to do it.
It was very
Yeah.
good. And the fishing is good here. We have fishing right out here in front.
Yeah, actually, we're fixing up a drift boat right now. I'm gonna take it down the river, I think, next spring. So
Oh yeah,
it
that's
should
great.
be fun.
Yeah.
Never done that either. Just bass down south.
Yeah, well, trout are different.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. I fully expect to learn a lot.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So, now Kelly, when James showed up today, was warning him against my scheming little mind, and yet she was the one who came up with the bright idea of what James might want to work
Yeah.
on. This,
Absolutely. Oh, the bird bath. Yes,
the
ma'am.
bird bath. So, tell us what kind of goes through your mind on a bird bath.
For a bird bath, I would try to do something, really rustic, and I would like to maybe have a bowl made out of the stone, and then some real cool pieces of wood to tie in, make the stand kind of like a tree, and just real rugged and refined at the same time, just a really pretty piece. I think I could do it.
Oh,
Real gnarly.
that
to
would
just
really be fun.
Twist it up. I think so,
Yeah, it would really be fun if we could go down. There's a lot of driftwood right here.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic.
You know, if we could get some. In fact, I have a favorite gnarly old um, stump that I photograph all the time, just all the time. It's been there for years. It's a little bit down or upstream from us here. So you and I'll have to go for a walk along
Oh
the
yeah.
river and see if there isn't something that we could.
Oh, there's definitely something out there. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
find it.
that would be fabulous. Can you believe that? We have our own guy here who's going to do a bird bath with materials from Dunrovin, and he's an artist guy. And when I told our other James, you haven't met our other James. We have two James now, when you know it. Two James living here this winter. Just to complicate everything. James Wasson, he's Mr. Tech.
Okay.
He's the guy who knows all about the live streaming and the electricity, and we're putting a web camera down by the river.
Okay, yeah.
And his eyes lit up when I said that you were a welder. He said, "Oh, great."
Yeah, yeah.
He said, "This could be a great project."
Yeah.
And so I told him about your interest in the bird bath, and he said, "That's great. I've got no artistic talents in that regards." And so he was really happy to have somebody that he could work collaboratively with, and he'll help you.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and then putting the web camera down at the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
didn't
that'd
we
be cool.
score? Didn't we score with this guy?
Yeah.
This is going to be
I
fun.
think we both did. Yeah.
Yeah, plus we're
think
going
we
to
did.
have a little girl around here that we can get connected with the ponies, eh?
Oh yeah, she'll be too cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. She'll. You'll get tired of showing her the ponies. I guarantee it. Yeah.
Ah, no. Well, I hope that your family's prepared for winter.
Oh
here.
yeah, we've. I don't think she's. My wife is quite excited as I am, but we've done a winter out in Great Falls, so we're pretty. We've gone through a couple harsh ones before, and I've worked out in the East Coast plenty of times through the winter. So.
Yeah. You know, our winters aren't nearly as bad as Great Falls.
Yeah, it's
You
windy.
know, Great Falls
Yeah.
is windy,
Yeah.
and you get those incredible temperature changes.
Yeah, the Chinook winds.
The Chinook winds, yeah,
Yeah.
where it can go from 30 below to 50 above in 24 hours.
I had my foreman out there. He would tell me stories. One day, it was 70 degrees, and then by the time he got off, it was negative 30.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the wind chill, 100-degree temperature swings.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
nuts.
Well, Montana holds the national record for
Yeah.
temperature swings.
I just learned that actually.
Yeah, within an hour and within 24 hours, and they're all right around Great Falls.
Yeah, that's
They're
nasty
all
out there.
right on the Rocky Mountain front, but that's gorgeous country.
It is. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
beauty in it.
Yeah, there really is. So when are you going to move in?
Probably this weekend.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great.
Yeah.
So tell us about the little house that you're building.
I got a little 10 by 30 house with 2 lofts in it that I'm building right now. So
Uh-huh.
little tiny house, just taking a little bit longer than expected.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity. But designing it all from scratch, and it's coming along pretty good right now.
Yeah, I saw some photos of it. So as people get to know you, they're going to want to watch the house come together. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
take your cell phone and take photos
Oh yeah, I'm taking
so that
photos.
you can share them with people because they'll want to know how it's going for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
No
then
problem.
when your wife and your daughter come, we'll have to do this with them so people can get to know them.
Okay, good deal.
Is that all right?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
And so what do your parents do in South Carolina?
My mom, she's just she's a stay-at-home mom, and but my dad's working for the VA right now.
And he was in the Army, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you spent part of your childhood in Germany,
Yes. Yeah, 9 years out there.
9 years. You've had
Yes,
quite
ma'am.
a life
Yeah, yeah.
for a young guy. Yeah. Well, we're just really delighted to have you.
I am too. I'm really excited about the opportunities here.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun to get to know you and to get you engaged with our horses and to get to know your family. And I think everybody is going to be excited about the bird bath.
Oh,
And
yeah,
people
that'd be
will want to chime in about them. Okay, look at here. See, they're saying, they said, "Oh yeah, we'll wanna know. We're nosy." That's what so why don't you? I'm watching the chat, and if anybody has a question for James, go ahead. I'll read your question, and he seems game for just about anything. So
Yeah. Not too shy.
he's not too shy. So let me know if you have a question here. It takes a little while for things to get back and forth here. Zoe. Okay, someone's typing here. Let's see what they have to know. Have to ask. Oh, they want to know when your wife and Zoe will come. They're interested in Zoe.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't bet. She's the best part. It's no lie. Nothing's really set in stone right now, but probably beginning of November sometime.
Sometime.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you've already called them and told them that you're going to be
Oh,
living
yeah.
here.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want pictures of the? You know, they should be on.
They probably are.
Did you give them the link?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I did.
That's
yeah.
fabulous. So if they're on there, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
They're probably making fun of me.
Hey, this is from Ash2611.
Yeah.
Tell him his family in South Carolina says hi. Everyone is here watching, including Zoe.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to wave. Come
Yeah.
on, wave to Zoe. Well, this is terrific. We're really going to have fun. So somebody wants to know your wife's name. Maybe she should answer. Hey, get on the chat, Ash42611, and tell us what your first name is.
Yeah.
This is fun. I'm really glad you told them. There, see, they're typing away here. How
I
wonderful.
bet,
Look
yeah.
at that. They're already, I tell you, our chatters are going to suck them right in.
Oh yeah, I bet.
They'll be part of the, oh, we're so proud of him. We can't wait to see him. So, what a name. We need a name for Mrs. Garland III. I have to talk about this Garland III. By the
Oh
way.
yeah, really.
Yeah, that's a southern sort of thing. Courtney. Well, hello, Courtney. Welcome in. I hear that Courtney's actually from Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of, does she do southern cooking?
Oh yeah, she's pretty good at it.
Is
yeah.
she?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's great. That's terrific. So do tell me about Garland III. That sounds like a long family name.
Well, since me growing up in the military, I don't know if there's a history behind it or if the Garlands are just too lazy to come up with an original name. That's what it probably is. But yeah, so it's on my dad's side of the family, and he's, the junior, and then his dad is senior, and then his dad was James Luther Garland, so
I see.
that's the way it came about.
And you have an E in yours, James E, right?
Edwin Garland, yes,
Edwin.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Garland. Well, that's a long, fancy name, and that's great.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're just really delighted to have you. What are your parents' names? So we can say hello to them if they're all signed on here.
Karen and James. Yeah.
Karen and James. Well, I should have known James. That was a stupid
It's
question,
all right.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Karen and James. My old goodness, this is terrific. We've got the whole family here. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? Oh, it takes a few seconds.
It happens. It really does.
That's right.
Yeah. You're out here in Montana. The internet's not that quick.
Yeah, that's right. Karen and James Jr. say hello.
Yeah.
Isn't this great? You
It
know,
is.
for those of you who aren't familiar with all of this, I mean, we've had some really fun experiments. And one year, speaking of Afghanistan and Iraq, we invited the military to bring out any children who had their parents stationed in Afghanistan.
Okay, yeah.
And then we arranged with the military in Afghanistan to have the parents watch from Afghanistan, and we gave the kids horseback riding lessons, and
That's
they
really cool. Yeah.
they made big signs to say hello to their parents.
That's very cool.
From the back of a horse.
That's really neat. Yeah.
That was really fun.
It really
It
is.
was just a lot of fun. Yeah. So.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was great. And we've had people. We had some young women from the University of Montana who showed up here from Sweden.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and they said, oh, they were. When I told them about the web cameras, they said, oh, well, my parents would just love to see that. So, with cell phones, you can call anybody at any time,
Yeah.
day or night, right? So she calls her parents in Sweden, and we give them the link, and they watch their daughter here.
Man, yeah, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is way fun, and we hope to expand it a great deal and get lots more people involved. We do have some people in Hungary and Australia, and we've had some people from Japan. And
That's very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing.
it's a fun thing. Okay, so I will make sure his parents have the login to watch anytime. That must be Courtney. All
Yeah.
right. Well, good for you, Courtney. You are really on the ball. Got right on the chat. So this is terrific. All right. If I don't see any more questions, we will say goodbye. This is wonderful. My son-in-law is watching too. Who's that? They're chatting with them now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. Very neat. Well, this has been a lot of fun, you guys. So, I can tell this guy's going to be a keeper. I love his attitude. I love his little book
Good
with
deal.
his fun projects in there. And when I was in my office, I suggested that he help me at some point make an Inukchuk. And I'm going to leave you with that word, Inukchuk, because next week I will talk about what Inukchuks are. They're wonderful things that I learned about in the Arctic. And I hope one day to have an Inukchuk here at Dunrovin because I like the symbols and I will tell you all about it. Your wife says he's a good one.
That's her.
That's a good thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I think she likes you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, with that, we're going to say adieu. We're going to wave off to everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for welcoming James. I think
Thank
this
you.
is going to be a lot of fun.
Me too.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.